Hello and welcome back to Tactical Shaminio. Today I'm going to go through a number of different areas of the defensive side of pro clubs. Within pro clubs, there's a huge amount of glory associated with the more attacking positions on the pitch. However, what people don't understand is the defensive area is the most important area on the pitch, and it will allow you to win many games. Any defensive position on the pitch is the most exposed area within the team. Any kind of mistake, anything that's timed wrong, ultimately results in being punished with a goal. And this is why you need selfless players, players that are clever, players that are disciplined, and I have that within my team. The three players I have in that position is George, Johnny and Big Ben, and they bring so much to me within my team. I'll start off by paraphrasing one of the greatest defenders that ever lived, Paolo Maldini. He said this with a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but he indicated that tackling was a sign of failure. You've already allowed your opposition attacker to get in a position to take advantage of you. It's a last resort. And that's why you need your defence to work as a unit, work together and get your positioning right. And that's why discipline is so important in this role. This is a great example of the defence being positionally aware and working as one unit. With the opposition counter-attacking, here's a clean back line with a CDM covering the left back. The team instruction is to make sure everything is narrow and tight. So anything that is going centrally is extremely difficult, and therefore the opposition is forced to go down the sides on the wings. When the ball is played towards the middle of the pitch, the team is still very narrow. So there's pressure on this particular player from the defensive midfielder and the centre back, whilst the right back comes in to make it tighter in the middle, so there's no space, leaving only the real option for the player to go down towards the wing or produce some magic to go through the middle. Any other option will result in an interception because of the positioning of the defenders, which this ultimately does. The bad side of this tactic is when your defenders aren't aggressive and absolving any responsibility by allowing the opposition to run into space. These three defenders are far too deep. They should be shifting up a couple of yards because this player here is only going to be passing to this guy here. Once the ball's played in, it is absolutely criminal that this centre back has backed off and allowed the opposition player so much space to run into and take a shot. He should be closing that space and be a lot tighter here, but instead he's absolved responsibility in the hope that the right back will come in and tackle him, which it doesn't. It results in a goal. As a defender, it's also about smaller details. On this opposition attack, I'd say all four defenders are in very good positions. But as I said earlier, it's about smaller details. With this attacker running into the gap in between the two defenders, this defender here is far too square on. His body shape should be a lot more in this angle to ensure he can cut it out. And ultimately, that small mistake results in a goal. In a similar situation, the same defender is dealing with a through ball between the two centre backs. Notice his body shape isn't square on, allowing himself to get between the attacker and the ball and eradicating any threat. There are other times where you need to be square, where you need to make an aggressive tackle just to put down a statement and put fear in the attacker next time they come near you. But when you do this, there's a risk. So it needs to be calculated and at the right moment. At this moment, the attacker has got his back to goal, giving the incentive for the centre-back to aggressively come in and snatch the ball. This attacker now knows that it's not going to be easy for him. Taking all these things into account, they're key ingredients to a brilliant defensive unit, and the next clip really illustrates how well I've got it. Here you have the attacker chip a through ball into that space. A reasonable decision, I would say, considering he has his fellow striker that can run onto the ball. But notice my two centre-backs' positions and their body shape. They've given themselves enough space and time to suffocate out that attack. Even when the ball is lost through a sloppy pass, this centre-back is able to take a calculated risk and stamp his authority with an aggressive slide tackle, being assured that his other fellow centre-back and his defensive midfielder is covering off the other attacker. Well, that's as much time as I can give today, guys. Just want to finish off by saying, I know the other week I said Zek is a superstar, which he is in my team. But the thing is, most teams, most managers, and most people on pro clubs forget and neglect is the most important area on the pitch, the defenders. And my guys are totally selfless. They will do everything and anything for the team. And you may think that the more creative players win games and the goals, which to a certain extent is true. But the reason my teams function so well, and the reason we're one of the best in the world, and I mean this, one of the best, and it's shown by our record, is because of our defenders. They allow the other players to express themselves, and it allows my team to have time and able to make mistakes. And that's why they're the most important players on the pitch, having the most difficult job. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this clip, and I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.